How do you feel about streams the past few days or weeks? I feel like all you do is watch rage bait and read. I don't mind reading more, although I think I might need to find a way to split this off my main YouTube stream. But yeah, I think I'm just waiting for the mood of the country to settle out, or my mood. Like I said, after the Trump win, it feels like there is a vindication for a lot of ways of approaching media, and it feels like even more dumb than it was before. So I don't know, yeah. Why'd you bring up the harassment stuff initially? Oh, because the illicit girl was tweeting out. Usually when people talk about mass harassment online, they'll post like 1 or 2 pictures, and it's like not even really the worst thing. But again, not to even say that some of it is okay or whatever. Like, I think all of it is pretty weird and not okay. But like, if my community was to harass somebody, like if I were to direct it, you would be getting hundreds of horrible messages, not like 1 or 2 people with 0 followers, like, you know. Don't you think now is an opportune time to launch a media company with a lot of the traditional media formats in flux of it right now? So like I said, the next step is finding one person to do full-time content. The problem is that like I'm in a very weird spot in the media world, and there's just a lot of like external pressures that I have to think about. It's just a lot of weird shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard world. It's a hard world out there.
I've asked this Congress to investigate where has this money gone. The American people are owed that answer because it's our money. It's our taxpayer dollars.
And there's a lot of really good reason to be concerned because, you know, the Ukraine was known as a, you know, place.
The Ukraine. What a... I want to do like 4 hours on YouTube and just 4 hours on Kick. Okay. God, there are so many things I want to say. This guy, I don't even know who he is, and I already... It's okay. Maybe he misspoke.
The Ukraine was known as a, you know, place of corruption, a place for money laundering.
Yeah. It's not like we sent $1 billion, as if that was even a small number to begin with, right? We've sent 100 times that to one country. I don't know how this Congress is allowed to get away with it. And Zelensky is out there. He went on the world stage and said, Russia fired a rocket into Poland, which would literally be an act of war. Well, it turned out that Russia fired no such rocket. It turned out that the rocket came from the Ukraine.
I love how if you didn't know, the Ukraine is like it's like the N-word basically for the country of Ukraine. I'm trying to remember the origin. I think Ukraine stands for like frontlands or something. It stands for something, and like referring to it as the Ukraine makes it sound like it was a part of the Soviet Union, basically. That like, oh, it's the Ukraine, like it's a part of the Soviet Union. Like the borderlands. Yeah, that's the implication. I think that's where that comes from. But it's a way of It's a way of derogatorily, like nobody who calls it the Ukraine is ever pro-Ukraine. It's always people that hate Ukraine and our Soviet shills. Oh, this is our new FBI director. It's unreal, dude. Actual Russian propagandists all over our fucking federal government. It's fucking disgusting. I hope the next administration can disinfect all the shit coming in and sweep through and like clear out all the whatever crazy stuff that they plant or bug or... I understand Kiev versus Kyiv. Yeah. I think I still say Kiev or whatever. That's like the Russian way, and I think Ukrainians prefer Kyiv or whatever, and I still say Kiev on accident. But that's a fair thing or whatever. But the Ukraine is always a dog whistle. The Ukraine is always a dog whistle.
Congress is allowed to get away with it. And Zelensky is out there. He went on the world stage and said, Russia fired.
Also, remember the different standards. This was true. I think it was Poland that misfired a missile that ended up landing in Poland. Did I say Poland misfired a missile that landed in Poland? Ukraine misfired a missile that landed in Poland. And it was a mistake. And they should have verified this before, before Zelensky said anything. But like, this is enough this was how long ago? This was 2 years ago? And this is like the most pressing thing. Like, imagine if there was no war happening for this circumstance to even occur, you know?
It turned out that Russia fired no such rocket. It turned out that the rocket came from the Ukraine. and was fired into Poland.
And it was a mistake, basically.
If Zelensky's going to go out there and beg the world for more money and come to the U.S.
It wasn't a missile, it was an air defense interceptor that missed its mark. There you go.
and sit
It wasn't intentional? Yeah, I didn't mean to ever imply that it was intentional, but
and come to the U.S. and sit in the well of our Congress and say, we want more money, and then call and demand the new Speaker of the House provide more and more money, and call Mitch McConnell and say, we need more and more machinery. He needs to be more prepared about global statements that bring us to the precipice of war than doing what he did last fall with this missile attack, or this missile launch, I should say. And we just can't have full faith and trust by giving a leader $100 billion and having him say, I'm not telling you where the money went.
like he didn't even get $100 billion in cash. Like, it's just not even real. Like, it's just like blatant propaganda, right? I know you hate Trump, and I do too, but he's going to impose maximum pressure on the mullahs, Iran's regime, which is a great foreign policy move to bring them to their knees. Okay. It might be Europeans saying the Ukraine as well. For example, in German, it's called Die Ukraine, the Ukraine. Similarly in French. Okay, sorry. My bad. Let me specify. I'm talking about English speakers from the country of America from the years 2022 to 2024 in Universe Timeline 134A. What is it in Rick and Morty? In American media, in nonfiction. My bad. I didn't qualify for 50 million different fucking things. I'm sorry. You're right. My bad. That was my mistake. Wikipedia suspends pro-Palestine editors coordinating efforts behind the scenes. Uh-oh. An arbitration committee set by Wikipedia for Palestine-Israel cases has banned 2 editors indefinitely, imposed restrictions on 3 others. These measures were taken against the said editors following attempts at canvassing, which is regarded by Wikipedia as bringing fellow editors into a discussion regarding a specific edit with the intention of influencing the outcome of discussion in a particular way, and is considered inappropriate. Uh-oh. I think the Vyvanse arc made Destiny manic, leading to a lot of Reese-minded decisions. Do you know what mania looks like? What? I wish we called every country their name in their native language. It is really weird to think that countries have different names in their other languages. Like, who even decides that? Do they call us the United States in Spanish? Why am I Los Estados Unidos? Is that a thing? Did I just make that up? Why do I feel like I've read that before? United States. Do they? I don't know what they. I have no idea. Yes, Estados Unidos. Unidos, right? Or do they call us the United States? I have no clue. I still don't like that we don't have a name for our country. That still bothers me. I don't remember when I either realized it or somebody pointed it out, that we're just the United States of America. Why don't we have a real country name? It's kind of bullshit. Cool, bro. Now say Deutsche? Deutsch? Deutschland? I don't know how you pronounce it. Fuck German. At least we are something, Destiny. The United Kingdom of what? Well, the The United Kingdom of Great Britain. Isn't that what it's called? Isn't that the full name? Isn't that the country's name? It's the United Kingdom of Great Britain. It's not just the UK, is it? The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. My bad. Alexander, whatever, I can't even read your name, and you donate in Russian. I don't know if that's Russian. I just assume that. I'm sorry. Mexico's official name is United States of Mexico. Yeah, but at least Mexico is like a name. That's cool. With the day of salvation. Wait, this translated from Spanish? Wait, what? Russian. Happy birthday. Oh, thank you. Now say it in Russian.
С днем рождения.
Yeah, I'm good. Endonyms versus exonyms. By the way, Mexico is the United Mexican States. Okay. We have so many checks and balances in our system of law. MAGA won't be able to change anything wholesale anytime soon. In other words, it's important to stay focused on continual voter turnout. Well, we have checks and balances, yeah. I think our checks and balances are incredibly effective at preventing like a small group of people from fucking over our entire government. But I've said this for 5 years. How long have I been saying this? The problem with MAGA is that MAGA is not just a small part of the Republican Party, it is the majority of the Republican Party. So they are like highly active and arguably in control of all three branches of government. That is a significant problem. Damn, well, pro-Palestinian people are going to be mad as fuck. Do you ever think about how retarded the English language is, how a combination of the same letters have a totally different way of pronouncing them depending on the word? Yeah, I assume that English was an outlier, but apparently other languages are pretty shitty too. Somebody told me that French was kind of like that, or at least like French is not immediately intuitive, because the only other languages I've ever looked at with any time are Korean and Spanish, which are the easiest to pronounce like languages ever. Wow, Fight Milk, thanks for the 10 gifted subs. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about any other fucking languages. Destiny. The U.S. Ambassador William Taylor said that using the Ukraine implies disregard for Ukrainian sovereignty. Yes, the Ukraine, when you refer to it that way, you're basically talking about it as like a territory or whatever of like it's less than a state basically, or it's less than an independent state. Can you outline your realistic worst case MAGA scenario? The worst case scenario in some respects has already kind of like come true. The worst case scenario in some regards was just like basically the normalizing of being able to have leaders that are just blatantly lying to their citizens. Like our government is becoming less and less discernible from, say, like the Russian government, right? Like Putin lying to his citizens, or some authoritarian leader lying to their citizens is kind of like expected, right? Like it's just like obviously whatever. Typically, for an American president, you shouldn't be. If you are, it's treated as like a pretty exceptional thing. Like, wow, you shouldn't be doing this. Like things like Guantanamo Bay, and lying about, like torturing people, or like weapons of mass destruction, being in Iraq and lying about that. Like these are pretty bad things, and the American public views them as bad things. And there's a huge like public reaction to bad things like this. But now it feels like it's just kind of expected. That somebody like Donald Trump can just lie with impunity over and over and over and over and over again, and all the Republicans can lie over and over and over again, and it seems kind of. And then having, it's also hard to stay, like how big the impact will be with like Elon Musk having such a personal relationship with the president when he's also maybe one of the largest, I shouldn't say that actually. Who are the top 10 largest government contractors? The government contracting out, it's gotta be, my guess is gonna be defense will be the highest for government contractors. But it could be tech companies, I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, it is typically defense contractors. Who launches, for the satellites that Elon launches, is that, I think I've asked this before, is this all under SpaceX? It's not, right? Who does the internet? Is it Starlink? Is that a different company? Oh, that's true. This is 2019 as well, yeah. I don't know what this looks like now, 5 years later. Did you see the I saw a like epic Reddit video today. I guess I should check if it's real or not. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Did you see Elon going after the F-35? Yeah, he seems to think that like drones can fucking replace planes, which I don't even think is possible right now, but Starlink is a SpaceX product. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, this is an older video. We have a lot of shit in space right now. Supposedly it was the number of satellites in space for Starlink for the internet. I like how they turn orange to let you know that it's evil. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be evil or not. I don't know what the... Oh, fuck. Late Reddit comment, true. Is it possible that lying with impunity is a trick that only Trump can pull off? It wasn't successful for Kerry Lake. Maybe future politicians after Trump won't have the charisma to pull it off, and this is just a storm we have to wade through. I mean, do you think Republicans are going back to how it was before? The task and purpose guy went to the front lines of Ukraine.
I went to the front lines of the war in Ukraine, but to be more precise, I actually went to the front lines inside Russia, because I crossed over the international border into the Kursk incursion, which is one of the most dangerous 800 square kilometers in the world.
We're in Kursk right now in Russia. This is also where over 10,000 North Korean soldiers are stationed, some 40,000 Russian soldiers. This is the direction where Americans just recently approved ATACMS missiles to be fired here.
If you're not aware, in August 2024, Ukraine shocked the world with a surprise invasion where they captured a chunk of Russian territory that they've been battling to hold on to ever since. The stakes couldn't be higher for Ukrainian forces, who are hoping to use this land as a bargaining chip in future peace negotiations. Meanwhile, Russia's throwing everything they have at them to deprive them of this leverage. Ukrainian forces have withdrawn from roughly 40% of the territory that they once held in August, from 1,000.
Okay. It's an hour-long video. We ain't got time for that. But good for him. Oh, happy birthday, donate $100. Feels really fucked seeing fast-track environmental regulatory approvals from Trump for Elon for investments of over $1 billion. This is my favorite birthday-related video in your honor. Thoughts on the Israelis going into Syria and blowing up all the military shit? A+. They get a big approval from me. Go for it. What is that?
Birthday boy.
Okay. Which is a classic old-timer meme. All right. Any person or company investing $1 billion or more in the United States of America will receive fully expedited approvals and permits, including but in no way limited to all environmental approvals. Why? What? Well, like, why? What? So do they matter or not? What does this even mean? All environmental approvals? So if I wanted to, let's say that I wanted to invest $1 billion into making like a toxic sludge Mississippi River dumping factory, do I just automatically get approval for that, or? We're all tragic spaceman. Thanks for the 5 gifted subs. What is this?
Be like
Co-writer of Pulp Fiction. Is that Roger Avery? Or are you talking about Quentin Tarantino?
people do it all the time. People like I've got
Suge Knight's doing podcasts.
I've got a
behind
friend who's
bars.
one of those January 6 guys, and he's sends me like tweets all the time. Like he's
You got a friend who was a
like
January
early
6
days,
guy?
though.
yeah.
You got a friend who was a January 6 guy?
Well, he's still there. He's like
Do have a due process. What do you mean? Has he been arraigned? Has he been charged with a crime yet? Because if you've been charged with a crime, then you stay in jail until your trial, or you post bail if you're allowed to and leave. What do you mean? Who's he referring to specifically?
Think about it this way.
Like, this is crazy because my GF of 3 years is moving across the country for a job, and we're probably going to split because fuck long distance. Please give me some wisdom / hope. I'm 26. Go move with her. I don't know what. Does she have a better job than you? Then go move with her. Be a house husband. We have videos of all of this, but it doesn't matter. Like, we can watch the videos. We can literally watch the videos. We can go and see the videos of all this. Like, it's all on. Where's Jamie at?
Heavily armed nation the world has ever known. Why would you have an insurrection with no guns?
Like, what do you...
okay, you gotta have guns, machine guns.
Those guys weren't planning on an insurrection.
No.
And then you have the factor that there was eight.
Oh, then well, wait, what is it going to say? Then you have the factor that there was a... Is it going to say Ray Epps, or is it going to say federal officers there on the ground, or...
agents
Oh, agents, yeah.
inviting people to go in.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
And I want to know who that cop was.
Like, no, like again, but this is what I mean. It's a troll. This is theater. It's all 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 theater. Okay. Like, so were they letting people in? Were they letting people into the building, or were they inciting people to go in? Which one was it? Like, were they letting people in? Because he just said they were letting them in. Okay, well, if they were letting them in, why would you need agents in the crowd to incite people? Incite them to what?
There's government agents in the crowd that were inciting people to go in.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
And I want to know who that cop was who shot that woman.
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah.
The woman who, what are we going to do the lie of? She wasn't even trying to go in. She was just looking at the window, even though we can watch her die on video. Like, we can see. In case you don't know, yeah, there's one of the theories for the lady is that she wasn't even trying to go in. She was just like, my mom believes this. She was just peeking through the window, and the officer shot her for no reason.
The whole thing's crazy.
Yeah,
the whole thing's crazy. And then there's this thing that cops died. That no cops died that day. That's not true.
No.
The cop who died, he died of a stroke, and I believe it was a stroke or a heart attack. But
This is true. They try to attribute like 3 to 5 deaths on like the events that happened that day. It's hard to know which ones were caused by it. I think on my write-up, I think there were 2 or 3 that you could safely say were probably caused by the events of the day. But there were no cops killed on the day of. But I don't know how that's supposed to be a benefit to you. Like,
well, like everything, there's a lot of misinformation being given to us by the mainstream media.
But it gets attributed
by the mainstream media. What about the misinformation that the election was fucking stolen? Wow, Jargon, thanks for the 5 tier 1 subs, buddy.
to it, sort of like when, anything happens to anyone 4 years after the vaccine, they attribute it to the vaccine. Oh, it was probably the vaccine.
Yeah.
Could have been the guy just had a fucking heart attack. But this guy who is...
Wait, is he defending the vaccine now, or is he making fun of the people that are saying that, or what?
Like, when, and ever think that is going to let you wind up in jail? How would you ever think that if you're an unsophisticated guy who was wearing fucking face paint?
Just to be clear, I think he was one of the first people in after he watched them bash the door down right in front of him. I think we watched the video of him going in as well, right? I think one of the reasons why he got a conviction is because he lied to the judge about him going in to the building. Shaman guy enters Capitol.
Jacob felons in
a recent of the clad in state's capital and during a capital January 8 by himself with the conspiracy theory Q.
Fuck, they're not gonna have the fucking video footage.
Has been released in the case against the so-called QAnon shaman as he faces charges for his role in the Capitol insurrection. CNN's Brian Todd is covering all the angles for us. Brian, tell us more about these videos and why they were made public.
Oh, because the judge got mad at him for lying about this.
They were made public, Wolf, because the judge is frankly fed up. Tonight, one of the most visible rioters on January 6th seems to have gotten squarely on the bad side of the judge in his case.
We won the day.
Tonight, Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman who wore a headdress and face paint and carried a spear inside the Capitol, has been called out by U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth. The court today releasing 2 videos, which the judge believes back his assertion in court papers that Chansley, quote, blatantly lied during an interview with 60 Minutes Plus. This is what Judge Lamberth believes was a lie.
Police were waving people into the building.
Judge Lamberth believes this video, showing rioters breaking windows, then panning over to a shot of Chansley walking through a door, shows Chansley was lying when he claimed
that right here. Oof, oof, oof.
Lamberth believes was a lie.
Police were waving people into the building.
Judge Lamberth believes this video, showing rioters breaking windows, then panning over to a shot of Chansley walking through a door, shows Chansley was lying when he claimed police waved him in.
And that shows you that this defendant, Jacob Chansley, has really angered this judge and has really compromised his own credibility in the mind of the judge.
Judge Lamberth had already accused Chansley and his attorney of doing that 60 Minutes Plus interview without the court's permission. Chansley's lawyer claimed they were not trying to be deceitful. Chansley has pleaded not guilty to 6 charges, including violent entry and disorderly conduct in the Capitol attack. Judge Lambert recently ruled that Chansley is too dangerous to release and has to stay in jail pending his trial.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
One analyst says even though Chansley's not accused of violent behavior against others, his high profile as a symbol of the riot puts added pressure on prosecutors.
The prosecutors have to understand that the public is watching every move they make in this case, and so the notoriety of certain defendants is something they have to take into consideration, and they better make darn sure that they have charged these people appropriately and that they come away with convictions, including on Jacob Chansley.
This comes as the Washington Post reports that the U.S. Army, in the days just ahead of January 6th, pushed to deny the D.C. government's request for a National Guard deployment on the 6th. The Post obtained an internal draft Army memo saying the U.S. military shouldn't be required to help law enforcement with traffic and crowd control unless more than 100,000 demonstrators were expected on the National Mall that day.
Certainly not consistent with past practice during my time as
deployment of additional.
But anyway, that's the guy who was led into the building.
With the fucking buffalo hat. They're walking him around. The cops are guiding
they're showing him around. No,
they're guiding him. How would you ever think?
Remember, the reason why Joe Rogan is saying that the cops were guiding him, the reason why he's saying that is because Tucker Carlson, a guy on Fox News who was blatantly lying, okay, to the American public about things like Dominion, was being given videos, okay? And none of what I'm saying, this isn't even like it's not even a conspiracy. This is just like all out in the fucking open, right? I believe that was it Jim Jordan who was making available video footage to Tucker Carlson so that he could tell the true story of what happened on J6, and all he showed was some of the less, like the nonviolent videos of people walking through the halls. He did like a whole segment on it.
Last night, Fox News, Carlson persuaded his viewers, people calmly walking around the Capitol.
Well, wait, was it the Speaker of the House? Was it somebody who, wait, it might not have been Jim Jordan. It might have been another Republican in the House.
And Tucker was trying to persuade his viewers that while there were some bad apples, most of those there were peaceful. He called them sightseers. Other video that Carlson did not air shows police and rioters engaged in hours of...
Yeah, so he believes this because Tucker Carlson, who now does videos of Russian propaganda in Moscow, was being handed videos from the Republican Speaker of the House to selectively edit and show that nothing actually happened on J6, just people walking around. And now Tucker Carlson, a supposedly non-political, non-partisan media entity, is repeating these same lies.
They're walking him around. The cops are...
To put it simply, what is your explanation of why the cop peacefully guided them to save his ass? No, because typically when you have a riot, people who are in groups of people are insane. Usually when they're on their own or they're separated off, usually they're not as crazy. They're more chill. I'm pretty sure the cops were walking a ton of people just into the Senate chambers and like locking them in there. I think you can even see video footage of them in the Senate chambers. But it was just like people who were like, I don't know if you'd call them stragglers or whatever, but just like random people that they would just have. And I think
in this video, I
think they had like 30 or 40 people that they just like walked in here.
No, they're showing him around. No,
they're guiding him. How would you ever think that that is going to let you wind up in jail? How would you ever think that if you're an unsophisticated...
Just to be clear, they succeeded in what their goal was for that day. Trump was the one that failed. The goal was to just delay the certification of the vote. They managed to do that. The certification was halted. That was the whole goal, and they did do it. Trump just didn't succeed on his end of the plan. Evidence of that? Anywhere? Anywhere at all? Nope. Absolutely no evidence of this whatsoever. Absolutely no evidence of this at all. We're just lying. Sorry. I'm not being strictly honest when I say that. There was at least one government agent doing it. If you consider the President of the United States an agent of the government. stuff. Oh, well, if people were smashing things for a whole year beforehand... Wait a second. But again, this is theater. It's all a meme. Okay. This is like the crazy making tactic where you say that you didn't do a thing, and then when somebody calls you out for doing a thing, you justify why you did the thing as evidence for not doing the thing, right? So remember, it wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't a riot, okay? But then he's saying, well, of course they did do this. It's because people had already been rioting for the whole last year, but I thought it wasn't a riot. Wait, was it a riot or was it not a riot? What was it? What actually happened? Was it cops leading people around, or was it more akin to the BLM riots for the last year? Like, what is it?
A decision to smash. Like, why? It may or may not have incited people to go in. The whole thing.
Oh, now it's may or may not have, because earlier you said that you literally said that they were, like, we have people who are telling people to go into the Capitol, right? We have people like Funtime and everybody on video saying these things. Why do we need to invent hypothetical other people who we have no video evidence of? Like, do you know how much video evidence, how many documentaries of J6 have been made at this point? There was a guy I was talking to a couple weeks ago. What was his name? It was one that just came out, I think within the last month. Oh, it was this one. Like, I feel like there's been like 10 plus of these huge documentaries that have like come out.
This nation.
Like,
saw everyone. America is awakening. Humanity is in 38 days. But
election. The president is willing to stake his reputation on the fact
people were willing to tie their reputation with a documentary like this, Destiny. Wait, what do you mean? What? Like, how is there so much video footage of this and we don't have all of the agents, all of the federal agents that are instigating? What? How did nobody capture any of these? How many of these motherfuckers have like have mace? Jesus Christ! Was it just Proud Boy people, or did random people show up with mace?
January 6th is not typically a day that we without much. That's a right to preserve our American democracy. It's a republic.
The feds were planting it. I feel like there's relatively little documentaries of people presenting this stuff and putting their personal reputation on the line and showing the evidence. All the docs are interviews and collections of footage. Short Fat Talks was great, but so long and no face. People listen to faces. What do you mean? 60 Minutes has done like, haven't they done like multiple documentaries? What are you talking about? Why? Somebody emailed me with this conspiracy bullshit that now you're inadvertently falling into. What did he call this? Fuck, what did this guy call this? Oh, this was a good email. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Hold on. Oh, it was this one. God, I'm so good. My memory's so good. Sh55, thanks for the 10 gifted subs. Hi, Destiny. I listened to that 5-hour Gen 6 video with the Artemis guy and had a specific framing for one of the techniques I think is commonly used by that style of, quote, more moderate Republican, end quote. They have a pattern where they point out one choice made, and once the hypothetical and reality diverge, they fashion themselves as much more cordial than they are. Quote, if Jim Jordan was allowed on the January 6th committee, Republicans would have trusted it, end quote, is a claim that this one action of allowing Jordan on would be sufficient to turn the Republican Party and voter base into good faith actors. Not only is this an unfalsifiable hypothetical, if you think of it as a pattern of actions, it is laughable. What singular event would it take to 180 the entire right wing of American politics? A subcommittee appointment? There is a common pattern of these centrist types to say, quote, yeah, sure, I happen to kind of agree with the Republicans on all of their points in the real world, but if we diverged into this hypothetical world, I would criticize them. All the Democrats need to do is fold on this one issue, and then I'll be on their side, end quote. The bipartisan alignment of these centrists in these hypotheticals doesn't mean anything when they systematically avoid that same attitude in reality. They pretend that their opinions are evenly spread and their attitude is randomly sampled across all possibilities, and therefore you should assume their real meta position is on average is an average over hypotheticals and reality. What they've actually done is post-selected a set of opinions so that they can be in alignment with Trump as much as possible while playing the hypothetical agreement game. The post-selection is bad faith engagement on its own. Sure, if hypothetical opinions are honestly considered, their agreement does matter, but a political hack saying, quote, this fact being different would turn me into a reasonable person, end quote, doesn't make them more reasonable. It just provides cover. If bad faith is assumed, only their positions in reality actually matter because those are the only signals that actually cost them anything. Otherwise, it's just empty promises. Yeah, I'm so tired of like hearing people do this. Well, if they would have just done this one thing, if this one thing would have been different, or if you just did this one thing, it would be something. It's like bullshit, dude. Shut the fuck up. Like Republicans have like there's so much shit out here available. Like that, even that comment, like, well, somebody needs to tie their faces for what? The fuck? There's a million faces on all of this shit. There's endless footage here, and there's endless people that have all said like the same thing. Like.
Last resort.
This message. Stay
Stationary!
Agents that may or may not have incited people to go in, the whole thing fucking changes. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you there to serve and protect, or is there some other weird shit going on? Because it seems like there is, and no one wants to talk about it because you don't want to be that guy.
No one wants to talk about it? What are you you guys have been, everybody's been lying about this for fucking years. What are you talking about? What do you mean no one wants to talk about what?
But at a certain point in time, you should.
What is this? Is this his friend? Federal judge doubles down a divergent legal position, dismisses Jan 6 charge upheld by at least 10 other DC judges. Jacob Lang? Was this the guy? Lang is allegedly seen on video picking up a police riot shield and slamming it in the ground near law enforcement. According to prosecutors, also accused of swinging a baseball bat at police officers multiple times, striking the officers' shields. Lang, for his part, seemed proud of his actions. According to court filings, "This is me." Lang reportedly posted on Instagram using an animated finger symbol to point himself out at the front of the crowd, facing off against police. Wait, did he say this guy's name?
The whole idea is crazy.
So there was no presumption that there was going to be any kind of like that you were going to get thrown in jail for 1,000 days. And so my pal Jake Lang is
Jake Lang. Nice. This is me. Good one. What did he say? Did he say what his friend was there for?
He's been there forever, and every now and then I get a picture of him. Like, he's been in like. Look, I deserve to go to jail. That guy doesn't.
Right.
The guy who was fighting police with a baseball bat?
And most of those guys don't.
Yeah, I think it was a bad decision, certainly, to go into the Capitol. It was a bad decision to smash windows, but I want to know who was
People
doing
have been smashed
against you where they don't need direct evidence is conspiracy.
Ooh.
What?
If they arrest you for conspiracy, that means they don't have direct evidence, but they don't need direct evidence for conspiracy.
What is he even talking about?
By the way, when I was
like just one thing. I mean, that's how they got Manson.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
All right. Because
they knew.
I mean, you still need like probable cause that you engaged in conspiracy. What are you talking about? Like you don't have to have like for actually doing the crime. Well, that's because it's a conspiracy to commit the crime. But you still need probable cause for it. The conspiracy to commit a crime is a crime.
What Manson had done because they were helping him.
Yeah. Well, I believe that too because
chaos.
Oh, true. Wait, I'm so sorry. My bad. Jesus, I forgot. I need the. What do you need? Is it Valium? What's that one guy in that House episode take to make himself dumber? I'm sorry. When he's saying conspiracy, because he's talking legalistically and everything, I assumed he was talking about like the crime of like a conspiracy to commit a crime. He might just mean like conspiracy theory. He might not even know that like conspiracy is a real crime or a real thing. My bad. I totally. My bad.
Me too, because
he just means you could just randomly arrest somebody for being part of a conspiracy theory. I think is what he meant to say, is what he's talking about.
Oh, wow. And when I was writing the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book,
believed to be charged with conspiracy to commit a crime. You have to make the plan to commit a crime. I think it involves two people. I think conspiracy definition, I think, has to involve two people, and you have to take one step towards the crime. Does conspiracy need to involve two people? I believe. What about federally? The primary federal conspiracy it says that a conspiracy against the United States occurs when two or more people. So you need two people, and I think you have to take one step towards the crime. 18 U.S.C. 371. We can just read it. If two or more persons conspire either to commit any offense against the United States or to defraud the U.S. or any agency thereof in any manner for any purpose, and, meaning you have to do this as well, necessary elements, and one or more of such persons do any act to effect the object of the conspiracy, each shall be fined under this title or imprisoned, not more than 5 years or both. So you can't just say, man, I'm going to kill Nancy Pelosi and then walk out. That wouldn't be enough to arrest somebody.
Everything. They're just constantly recording. And so somebody's in there and they're like, man, I'd like to kill that DA. Well, that's conspiracy. And so
that's not even conspiracy. I'd like to. That's not even conspiracy.
they'll wait and like, oh, you're about to get out. And like, they'll literally start walking out like, stop.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Remember that thing you said about conspiracy? Let's play that back for you.
Oh, God.
Or what you said about killing the DA? Well, that's...
To who? Name one example. Who did that happen to? Name one example of it happening then. It happened a lot. Why do people get away with this? Why do people get away with this? I notice this happens in media as well. It happens everywhere, where people say this is so common. It happens all the time. There are so many people. Okay, name one. Give one example then. If it happens so much, just give one example of it happening.
It's also
careful. Don't lie, okay? As the gallons of cum come pouring out of your mouth, asshole, and eye sockets, okay? Because I've never heard, where's the crazy criticism for the convicted felon who has his crony rich billionaire friends who are filling out the entire fucking cabinet, and then the richest man in the world? Well, maybe it's coming. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Maybe all of that suspicion is coming. My bad.
Our show is, I don't say, hey, Roger, so find these.
Yes, he does. Joe Rogan doesn't own any guns, does he? Man, I hope not, because that would make him guilty of the exact same crime that Hunter Biden was convicted of, which is lying on a 4473 about being a user of narcotics. Hopefully, I hope he doesn't. Well, let's not talk about Elon or... Okay. Why do we even watch this? I don't need to watch this right now. I don't need this in my life right now. What is this? Last video from China.
Who were standing right next to rioters who were clashing with police officers.
That's simply not true.
Derek, it's on video.
Okay.
I'll show it to you.
Do it.
Did we watch this already?
Right?
Yeah.
This is your video.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
For the record, guys, I'm not touching anything. I am just here to watch.
Oh, that's not up there, the Capitol building. That's a bicycle
Right, they're
racks
about
back
to
there.
break through the first barricade.
Okay, the bicycle racks. Okay, yeah. I thought you meant up at the Capitol.
Right,
Okay.
but this is the Capitol complex.
Well, they're not. For the record, they're not clashing.
They're pushing the barricades.
They are removing barricades, yes, but they're not fighting police officers.
They're not removing the barricades, Derek. They're pushing through them.
They're not fighting. They're not fighting the police officers.
The
though.
police
no
are
one
holding
there
the
that
barricades back, Derek.
has show me where someone puts their hands on a police officer.
They're putting their hands on the barricade.
On the police officer.
And on the other side is the police officer.
Show me where someone puts their hands on a police officer.
Well, firstly, they're pushing thing that the officers
I'm not
are
arguing
holding.
with you. I agree with you.
The Game Awards? I don't care. What are the Game Awards? Are you even allowed to watch these on YouTube?